Welcome to Unconventional Success, where we are rewriting the rules for female solopreneurs. I'm your host, Tiffany Dawson, a business and mindset coach. I help women who value freedom to earn the income they need to facilitate the lifestyle they want. I'll share interviews with successful female founders and my own tips on how to build a bulletproof mindset, make your own rules for your reality, and think strategically about your business so you can earn free-flowing revenue while spending quality time with your family. Remember, you can do life and business in a totally unconventional way and be wildly successful at the same time. The only person you need permission from is you. Hello and welcome to another episode of Unconventional Success. I hope you're really well today. I am still riding off this high of our collective call yesterday from Overflow Collective. This was our second ever monthly call. It's a group mastermind type call to kick off each month. And yeah, the women in there are just amazing. We had quite a few new women join this month, and we had such juicy, interesting conversations. I am so glad that the vision that I had for this group has really come to life. I was super intentional about who would join, as in what values they would have, the open honesty they would all have within the group, the generosity, the really wanting to help support each other. And I'm so glad that I put that time and effort into slowly creating what the group values were going to be, because it's really come to life now. It's just so amazing to see all these women jump in and help each other. I won't talk about it too much today because I've got a lot of other stuff that's super important that I want you to know about in today's episode. But some of the really interesting conversations we had were around showing up authentically on social media and to your team members. So one of the collective members is a CEO of a tech company that has quite a few employees all around Europe. And the others are mostly solopreneurs showing up on social media. And both types of business women have this similar problem in which they feel like they want to be authentic with their feelings either on social media or with their team members, but how much is appropriate? So, for example, if you are a money coach and you're currently going through some financial difficulties at home, how much are you supposed to be opening up about that on social media and being authentic about that? And how much would that then affect your ability to show up as an authority on the expert? Ooh, so juicy, isn't it? And it's the type of stuff that people are not going to talk about on social media. They're going to talk about it in masterminds and smaller collective groups in communities such as the Overflow Collective. So this is where we have all of these really, really interesting conversations that you just won't get the chance to have a chat with anybody else elsewhere. But yeah, if this is something you're interested in, by the way, you're able to join now in order to start in October. So let me know either via DM in Instagram, or I'll leave a link in the show notes as to how to join Overflow Collective. But that aside, I want to talk to you about Q4, the fourth quarter of the year, which starts in September. So this is the first episode of September 2023. I really wanted to bring this episode to you and talk to you about the behind the scenes action that comes from planning within my business. I know everybody does it differently. Some people have really strict processes. Some people like to follow a guide. For me, it's very much intuitive. It's very much thinking about the four things I'm going to talk to you about today, but really feeling into what is it that I need right now? What is it that my business and audience needs right now? And what matches between them? And how can I kind of make that happen? So have you thought about Q4? And firstly, how are you feeling about it being September? I was talking to a friend recently about how in August, it feels like you've still got half the year left. But then suddenly in September, it's like, bam, end of the year. You've almost got no time left. So how are you feeling about it? Are you feeling like, oh my goodness, there's only 3 months left to go. I've hardly made any headway into my goals, or I thought that I would be further along with everything by now, and now it's already September. Is there any point in keeping on going? Or are you feeling like, okay, yep, I have absolutely smashed my goals, or maybe I've still got a little bit of work to do, but 3 months is a whole quarter of the year. I've got plenty of time left. Which are you? I asked this question on Instagram stories, and one of the ladies messaged back saying, am I allowed to feel both? And yeah, absolutely. You are absolutely allowed to feel both. It is, I guess it can be confusing, but time is a construct, right? Time is what you make it to be. And if you feel like you don't have enough, that's going to be true. You're not going to have enough time. If you feel like you've got plenty of time and you still got loads of energy left in you, that's also going to be true. So be really careful about your thoughts and feelings going into Q4. Firstly, being aware of what you're truly feeling inside. And secondly, thinking, okay, does this need to shift? And how am I going to do that? If you need some help with this, just let me know. DM me on Instagram. I'm very, very happy to help with all of this energetics type stuff. It is absolutely something I love to talk about with my clients. So I'd love to help you with it too. But let's get into more of the specifics of what I've been doing behind the scenes with Q4 planning. And maybe this will spark an idea or two as to how you can plan for your final quarter of the year. So maybe you run a business already that's quite established. Maybe you are thinking of starting a business, or you've just started and you're like, I've never done this sort of business planning before. I'm just kind of in the mode of getting engagement on Instagram posts. Are you telling me now I need to plan? Or maybe you are listening in and you've got no desire to start a business or be a business owner, but you work within a business. This is going to give you some ideas of how you can think strategically within your role to then help your business to achieve their goals as well. So a little bit for everybody here. The thing that sparked me to sit down and think about my product suite and revamping it. So by product suite, I mean all of the available things that I've got on offer for people to pay me money for in exchange for my services. And I had been thinking the other day that I have only two extremes. Well, that's not quite true, but I have mainly kind of two extremes of the market. I have got a £25 per month investment to join the Overflow Collective community. And then on the other end of the scale, I've got currently priced at a high ticket private coaching container with me. So 3-month coaching container with me privately. And in the middle, I've got a strategy session, but I don't really have that much in between. I kind of got two extremes of the scale and I've not really got anything in the middle. And this thought was sparked by having a conversation with someone in the DMs who has been following me for years, is currently at the point where she really wants to work with me, but and she has explained her personal circumstances to me, it's not possible for her to invest the amount that she needs to in order to get my help from private coaching for 3 months. And I realized I've got nothing else to offer her. It's just such a shame that I know I can help her and I know she would get value from working with me, but there's nothing in between as an option for her to work with me. I know a lot of coaches out there would say, oh, well, if they can't scrape together the money, it means that they don't value your work. Maybe that's true, but also I am deep down of the feeling that I would love to be able to help people of all different circumstances, of all different accessibility circumstances. So I want to be able to create something for them. So this kind of sparked to me that I needed to revamp my product suite, add a few different ways of working together with me. And I'm going to splurge all that with you today. So I went through 4 steps, and I didn't kind of plan these out. I've just looked back to my planning session and realized there were 4 distinct steps that I took, and I'm going to reverse engineer them so that you can follow along and maybe you get some ideas as to what you can do for your business as well. So first of all, I started with clarifying how I actually help my audience. I know this seems like a really basic thing that I probably should have done ages ago, but the fact of the matter is you need to be continually doing this time and time again, because you grow, your audience grows, things shift, your interests might move. So for me in my business, I definitely know that my target audience has shifted over time, and the topics that I find myself interested in talking about and teaching about within my coaching sessions, they shift. So this was a really good chance for me to sit down and just recalibrate, rethink about what are the main things that I'm helping my audience with at the moment. And I realized that, yeah, it's kind of similar to before, but it's going to help me with clarity with my messaging. So the 3 main things that I am currently talking about on social media and with my clients are confidence cultivation. This has been a running theme throughout the whole of my business. This has never changed. So really nice to see that that's still in there. The second thing is removing energy leaks. This was always a thing that I did, but not one of the main 3 things that I was talking about from the start. But now I'm noticing, because I am coaching a lot of mothers who are entrepreneurs, there are energy leaks all over the place, aren't there? If you don't know what I mean by energy leaks, I mean day-to-day things that are draining your energy, day-to-day tasks or decisions or thoughts that you've got to have every day that are taking up mental space that could otherwise be used for more creative pursuits or more income generating tasks. So removing energy leaks is a huge one at the moment. So that's kind of made it into my top 3 messaging topics. And then the third thing is strategic action. Again, strategic thinking has always been something that I have coached on, but now specifically having this little tweak towards strategic action, not just thinking, but the action behind it as well. So this is really helping me to clarify all of my messaging, meaning that social media posts, things that I put out in the future for the next 3 months are going to be very simply grouped into these 3 content topic pillars. So if you've not done this for a while, if you think I've got my content pillars down pat, I don't need to think about this anymore, I would still just spend like 5 to 10 minutes really thinking about, has anything moved? Do you need to make any tweaks? Or maybe the stuff that you're talking about is completely different now, and what you're talking about on your Instagram posts or LinkedIn posts no longer matches your LinkedIn profile or your Instagram profile description. That was the case for me, so I've now changed that. So if you go onto my LinkedIn profile about section, you'll notice that those 3 topics have now been changed. Okay, step 2 that I found myself doing when I was doing my Q4 planning was thinking about how my audience like to interact with me. So as I said before, I realized that I had these 2 ends of the spectrum, a really low ticket monthly payment offer and a really high ticket private 3-month coaching container, and nothing really in between apart from a strategy session here and there. So thinking about how my current clients like to work with me and how my audience who are not yet clients like to interact with me, I found that there were similarities. So for my private clients, I offer one-on-one Zoom calls, but between sessions, we also talk via Voxer. So Voxer is a walkie-talkie app. You send voice notes. You can also type. So it's very much similar to WhatsApp. The reason I use Voxer rather than WhatsApp is for my own personal boundaries. I use WhatsApp for personal use and social use, whereas Voxer, I know that when I'm logging into that app, I am talking to my clients. So I can have my work mode on and switch off and go onto WhatsApp if I'm, I don't know, sending my mum photos of Harry. So there's a lot to do there with instant messaging, either via text or voice notes with my current clients, but also with my audience. You'll find that on LinkedIn and Instagram, if you send me a DM, quite often I will respond back in a voice note. And a lot of my audience will also respond back to me in a voice note. So thinking about how my audience and current clients like to interact with me means that they really like that instant ability to interact with me, leave a little thought or message and wait for me to respond whenever I've got time. And when they've got time to jump back on, they can send me another voice note back. And this makes a lot of sense when I loop that back into who my clients are now. Busy mothers, busy entrepreneurs. We've got little pockets of time here and there, whereas we might find it difficult to carve out a whole hour every week to speak. So this got me thinking, how can I now provide a really valuable coaching style service via this kind of instant messaging vibe? And yeah, I have started to offer out Voxer only support. So this means that you will speak to me via Voxer only, where it's voice notes or instant messaging, and it's kind of like a coach in your pocket type vibe. So there's one new product. I've also bundled up a strategy session with 2 months of Voxer support. Meaning, if you do a strategy session with me, which used to be just a one-off 90-minute session with me to work on a specific strategy to help you towards a very, very specific goal, you then have the additional 2 months coach in your pocket style Voxer support to help you implement all of those strategies that we talk about in that first session. And I think that will work really nicely together, because sometimes having the strategy put in place feels good at the time, but the motivation and momentum to keep going can be tricky, especially when you hit hurdles, when things don't go your way, something comes up. Being able to have that constant support in your pocket is going to be super helpful for you to implement those strategies that we talk about. So that's a good example as to how this specific strategy that I'm putting in place works very well for my audience, but you need to think about your audience. Maybe they're not the type of people to do voice messaging, so you can't just copy and paste what I'm doing because it won't work for you. So have a think about how you interact with your clients and how you interact with people in the DMs or your audience elsewhere. Is it in groups on Facebook? Is it, I don't know, like via podcasts? Or do you have a WhatsApp broadcast? Think about what that is for you and how you might be able to implement that as part of your product suite, as an addition to your product suite. Okay, step number 3. I then wanted to add something, and I'm not quite sure when this is going to happen, but I really wanted to add to my product suite either a short-term group program or an off-the-shelf, like instant access video course. I'm not entirely sure which form it will take yet, but the cogs are whirring. And the way that I tried to figure out what this program would be about was to brainstorm all of the challenges that my clients this year have had. So I literally wrote down a list of all of the private clients I worked with this year, including my current clients, and then just wrote really quickly dot points on all of their challenges, either to do with career, business, life, energy leaks, confidence, all of that kind of stuff, all of their limiting beliefs, anything that I helped them with, any light bulb moments that they had. And I looked back through my notes as well with all of them to see if any of those dot points sparked an idea for a new group program or product topic. And bingo, I found one. I won't share with you exactly what it is yet because I really want to get the messaging right. I really want to take my time with crafting exactly how I'm going to word this new container. But yeah, that was really, really useful. So if you've not done that, or you don't do that on a regular basis, I really encourage you to do it because not only does it help you to come up with ideas for new products and services, it also makes you feel so good about yourself. It also makes you remember how much value you put out in the world, how much confidence I've cultivated in these individuals' lives, how much I've helped them to move towards their goals. And I am connected with most of them either on LinkedIn or Instagram, and I can see how far they've come, especially since reflecting back to where they were at the start of their coaching journey with me. So definitely do that. Even if you're not doing any Q4 planning or coming up with new products, I really highly encourage you to do this. And also the other thing that this did for me was to really confirm that step one of this process, which is clarifying how I help my audience, doing this brainstorming activity with all of my past clients really clarified that those 3 topics that I picked out at the start were correct because I saw those 3 themes. So confidence cultivation, removing energy leaks, and strategic action. I saw those 3 themes come up again and again as I was brainstorming all these challenges that my past clients had. So that was really good confirmation. And then fourth and final, a big one, pricing. So looking at my current pricing and thinking about if it needs to change. And the fact is, every time I go to think about pricing, I will increase my pricing. No hesitation whatsoever. Because I know that my experience is getting deeper the longer I coach. The more I coach these women, the more I'm able to get results quicker and more easily for them. You know, it doesn't take ages, like months and months and months of coaching for them to see a shift in their confidence, for example. Like for one of my current private clients, we've been coaching for a month. She started off with absolutely zero self-esteem in her professional ability. And now she's had a breakthrough with really believing in her own abilities, really speaking up and being visible in her field and stepping up as an expert. And now she's actually asking questions that she never would have asked before because of that new confidence cultivation. And I believe that, yes, you know, she did all of the work, absolutely. I was just there to guide her. But because I'm so much more experienced now than I was 4 years ago when I started my business, I'm able to help pinpoint exactly what to be more self-aware of, what kinds of tools and strategies would really help to cultivate that confidence quicker than I would have 4 years ago. So this is why my prices will increase, because I know it's more valuable. I'm able to save these women so much time. So, does price increase scare you when you think about your own business? If so, I really encourage you to have a think about what I've just said, how much more experienced you are. Because yes, you might not feel like you're adding any extra features or services on top of what you're already doing, but people come to you not to take up more time. People come to you because they know your experience, that you can get them results quickly. You can point them towards the direction that's going to get them where they want to go. So have a think about your pricing. And for example, currently Overflow Collective is £25 an hour. I purposely priced it at a really low ticket offer to start off with, but I know that now as it is gaining momentum, I'm getting more feedback that it is absolutely a place that women who are mothers and entrepreneurs need to be. The women in there are telling me how uplifted they feel, how much more motivation and momentum they're feeling, and all the wins that they're having in business from being in that collective. I know that, yeah, okay, I can now increase the price because this is valuable. I'm getting those testimonials, that social proof. And so by November, I will be increasing the price. So that's an example of how you might think about price increases. With my high ticket coaching, I'll be changing up the timescales because I would really love to be able to work with women for a longer period than 3 months. I know that 3 months is able to really change a woman's life, but I just feel that that extra month, especially for women who have extended their coaching programs with me, in that 4th month, this extra layer of magic really happens. So I'm going to be playing around with that as well. So think about price increases as a way to experiment. Don't feel like it's a huge daunting thing that you shouldn't be able to touch because it's like playing with people's lives, playing with people's wallets. It is a chance for you to experiment. If you've increased your prices and you are really not getting the sales that you were before, then yeah, maybe it's a chance for you to think about, okay, maybe I've increased it too much, or maybe I'm not talking about the value well enough. Like it could be one or the other. So have a play with that. I'm going to recap those 4 steps for you. So 1, clarifying how you help your audience. 2, thinking about how your audience interacts with you to see if there's any extra ways that you can add to your product suite so that people can work with you in different ways. Number 3 is brainstorming all of those challenges that your current and past clients have had so that you can get ideas for new programs. And 4th, looking at your pricing. Do you need to update that? Lots for you to think about there. Those were the 4 things that I did for my Q4 planning. I would love to know if this episode has been helpful to you, if it has sparked you to also think about your product suite and revamping it. And if you are interested in any of the services that I spoke about today, particularly some of those new ones in terms of Voxer support and strategy session plus Voxer, send me a DM. I'd really love to hear what you think and if that's something that you would potentially like to join in on. I know that this is going to be a really valuable way for people who don't want that super long-term commitment of private 3 to 6 months of coaching with me to work with me, still get a load of value, but really pinpointed to exactly what results they want to get. So if that speaks to you, if you're looking for someone to help you on your sales strategy, on the way that you share your messaging, and also the mindset and confidence piece around that in order to present yourself really well, come and send me a DM on Instagram. I would love to have a chat with you and see if there's anything that I can do to help you on your way. I'm going to leave it there today. I really enjoyed sharing this with you. If you've got any questions, shoot me a DM. But otherwise, I look forward to chatting with you next week. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, I'd be so grateful if you could help me spread the word that this podcast is here to help other female solopreneurs just like you. Please give this podcast show a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts, and subscribe if you'd like to see when future episodes come out. If you have any questions about the topic spoken about today, I'm always happy to answer your questions. Come and find me over on Instagram at @TiffanyDawson_ and shoot me a DM. I'd love to help. Until next time, take care.